Hello everyone, it's Joel Davis with United Medical Transportation Providers Group, and you are thebroker.com, helping you to build a highly effective and highly profitable broker business. We are back at it. Got a couple questions. Thank you all for your emails and questions. Love it. I don't see them all, but I try to select the ones that are shared with me. I try to select some questions that I think are going to be most beneficial to everybody. I have to maximize my time and get my bang for the buck. I need the oomph. So I want questions that will benefit the most people possible. So if your question is specifically about something unique just to your business, I'm not going to make a video on it for sure. I got to be able to benefit as many people as possible. So I picked two questions this time because I know they're very good topics. I know it would be very easy for me to go off on a tangent. I'll try to avoid that to the best of my ability so this doesn't become a lengthy message. I'm sure some of you will appreciate this content because I picked two questions that, although different, they definitely have some synergy. So let me go ahead and read the first one. This one it says, "Hi Joel, this is the second year of my NEMT business, and the more I watch your videos, the more I continue to learn. Your messages continue to resonate with me. Thank you for what you do. You bring great awareness to the industry and us business owners working to build something special. The reason why I'm writing this particular message is because I really like what you say about growing and diversifying your business, then investing and compounding your money. The missing piece for me is making enough money to start saving and investing aggressively to take advantage. I watched your liability video that everyone has talked about and really appreciate the concepts. My question is, when is the right time for me to start using those strategies?" Very good question. I know my question and concerns may be a little premature with my business being so young, and I know I have a long way to go, but any thoughts, ideas, and suggestions for how I can start compounding my money even sooner so I can leverage time would be greatly appreciated. Thank you again, Carter. Carter, great questions. Love the email. Now this question came in earlier in the week, and I saw it and I knew it, that I wanted to use it specifically because my advice to all of you, and we all hear the motivational speakers and teachers, and everyone tells you set goals, shoot for the stars, and that's all good, that's all relevant. It's important to have goals. But even more than that, my advice to all of you is, of course, set your goals, what you envision, what you want. But what people miss is the importance of what I call reverse engineering your goals. You gotta reverse engineer. So let's say, Carter, I don't know how old you are. I don't know what your prior experience is in other businesses. If this is your first business, I don't know those things, so I can't apply any of those assumptions. But let's say your goal is to become a millionaire. That's a great aspiration. $1 million, okay, it's a lot of money, but I gotta be honest with you, $1 million nowadays is just not a lot of money. I'm just gonna be honest. I mean, look, if you have $1 million in the bank, is that awesome? It's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. You know, there's someone right now watching this who they're not even sure where they're gonna get the next meal. So $1 million, talking about being a millionaire, is like in the stratosphere. I'm just going to be honest with you. $1 million nowadays is not a lot of money. My goal, my hope is that, hey, you're going to strive for bigger and better. You want to be a multi-millionaire. You want to establish and build generational wealth where your money is just, your money makes you money perpetually, and that is the ultimate form of freedom, no question. Now, you watching this, if you say to me, I want to be a multi-millionaire. Again, I don't know how old you are, where you are. Carter, you're in the NEMT business. This is your second year. That's great. Some of you watching this, you may not be in the NEMT business. You may be in something else. I don't know. But you've got to reverse engineer your goal. If your goal is to be a multi-millionaire, you got to say to yourself, okay, I'm 65, I'm 55, I'm 45, I'm 35, whatever your age is. Obviously, the more time you have, the better. That's awesome. If you are starting later in life, guess what? You got to move a whole heck of a lot faster, and you better have a very dynamic business model. Why is all this relevant? Of course, we got to leverage time. Time is a critical component to your ability to make money. Now, I'm going to jump around a little bit, so stay with me. I've said countless times, there's millions of ways to make $1 million, multi-million, whatever. There's millions of ways to make money. But the business that you're in, whether it's NEMT, home care, courier, broker, whatever you're involved in, you've got to reverse engineer. And you got to say to yourself, how long is it going to take for me to get to $1 million, multi-million dollars, hopefully? If you're involved in real estate, there's 1,000,001 ways to build a real estate portfolio. A lot of people can leverage real estate. That's great. A lot of people will go out there, they'll get all these notes, all these mortgages, and all these properties that in total valuation is over $1 million. But do they have $1 million in the bank? Absolutely not even close. If the market bottoms out, the banks call the notes, you're not going to be a millionaire. You're done. People have gone belly up. I mean, we can go back to 2008, 2009. NEMT. There's so many different ways to build your business. No two businesses are the same. There's so many different moving parts, so many different types of money you can go after, depending on your location, the degree of rules, regulations. So how and what your business looks like could be completely different. So we have to define the goals. Hey, I want to be a multi-millionaire. That's awesome. We got to say, how much time do we have? Do you have 5 years to do it? Do you have 25 years to do it? Do you have 35 years? I don't know. You have to answer those questions. Now, from there, we need to say to ourselves, what are the best vehicles, no pun intended, what are the best vehicles to get us to our goals? Is it just relying on our NEMT business? Is it going to make us a multimillionaire? It could, but how long is it going to take? Are you relying strictly on cash flow to get you there? That could be a long wait. That could be a very long wait. Let's say you're a newer business. Again, Carter, I don't know, you're in your second year. I don't know what your cash flow looks like. I don't know how much money you're taking home. Let's just, for easy math, let's say your margins are you're taking home a salary, an annual salary of $100,000. Your goal is to be a multimillionaire. Now I ask you, Carter, how long is it going to take for you to become a multimillionaire if right now you're only taking home $100,000 a year? We all know 100 grand isn't a lot. It's going to take you exceptionally long for you to go from point A to point B, and point B being that multi-millionaire. Again, you've got to define your goals. Shoot for the stars, set your goals, establish your vision. All the experts say that's all well and great. What is the strategic plan to get there? This is where the reverse engineering of your goals and aspirations is absolutely critical. Time is the critical component, and the vehicle that you're going to leverage over time to get you to your goals is absolutely critical. Again, I'm going to pick on you, Carter. You sent me the great email. Let's say you're taking home $100,000 a year from your business. It's going to take you an exceptionally long time for you to get to that $1 million, multi-million-dollar goal. So with that being said, it underscores the fundamental principle that part of your goal, now listen, I understand if you want to build your business, whatever business you're in, you want to build your business, pass it on to your heir, your kids to take over it, that's fine, that's great. You could do that. That's admirable, respect it, love it. It's all well and good. If the goal, but that's your goal. My goal is to just build a business, make some money, make a living, save as much as we can, enjoy our life, have a good, stable life, and then pass it on. That's the goal. So your goal may not be to be a multimillionaire, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if your goal is to be that multimillionaire and establish that generational wealth, your cash flow isn't going to get you. What's going to get you there is building a dynamic business that you can sell for a multiple. As in, you've got to be able to sell this business for more than what you're making right now. And your business may be plural. You may need to build multiple businesses. You may have 10 years. You may have, I don't know how old you are, Carter. You could be 65 and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to work till I'm 75. You could be 55 and say, I want to work till I'm 65. You could be 45 and say, I want to work 20 years, I'm done, I'm out, whatever. I don't know where you are in your stage of life. But again, define the goal, reverse engineer what you want to accomplish. What are the best vehicles to get you there? This is why your business model is absolutely critical. Of course, we want the cash flow. We want to have a smooth business model, less frustration, strong systems, processes, procedures, all of that, common sense, I get that. But the goal is to put you into a position to sell your business for a strong multiple, the best possible multiple you could possibly get. It's like in real estate. If you buy property, you obviously want that to appreciate. Sell it in the future, make money, cash out along the way. If your business model is based on renting and you make some money, positive cash flow each month. I get that. I understand that. Love it. That's one real estate business model. If you're a buyer and a flipper, you better make sure that you have strong margins. Otherwise, are you really going to get to that goal? If at the end of the day, when you're buying and flipping and you're not making as much money as you thought, I mean, it's going to take you a long time to get to that goal. Having multiple businesses, obviously, if you have diverse sources of revenue, increasing the cash flow. Look, cash flow is key, so don't misunderstand my point. I'm not trying to diminish the importance of cash flow. Cash flow is key, especially when it comes time to sell the business for hopefully an increased multiple. You've got to show a strong cash flow, no question. Appreciation, the real estate aspect. I mean, we want that asset to appreciate. Sell it for a multiple, sell it for a profit. You got to know with your transportation business, at the end of the day, your assets are your vehicles themselves. Those assets, they are a depreciating asset. That's where the cash flow is absolutely key. My broker business, I have no assets, yet I have very strong cash flow, phenomenal cash flow. I mean, I make more, I have 3-to-1 ratio of where I was in my NEMT business and where my broker business is. But I have no assets. So I am exposed to heavy taxation with my broker business because, again, it's a asset poor, cash rich business. That's why it's critical. I take that money, I invest it into equities. I'm big into equities. If you've watched any of my videos, you know that. But guess what? That's where I'm making 38%. If you watch the last video, you could see that we were at 38. So bottom line is we're making strong returns, which helps me negate a lot of that taxation. Now, don't get me wrong. We do have creative ways that we're able to limit our exposure to taxation. But at the end of the day, you can only do so much, and we always have to do everything legal and above board, of course. But especially if you're making great money, there's no reason for you to ever play stupid. It's moronic. But again, Carter, great question. And it's a very loaded question in terms of when is the right time for you to start deploying the strategies that I talked about in that liability video. And for those of you who haven't watched that, make sure you do. We'll try to put the link in this down in the description. Watch that video so you can get a better idea what Carter's talking about. And again, Carter, it's difficult for me to tell you specifically because I don't know enough about your business. It's in your second year. I don't know how many vehicles you have or anything, but I do encourage you to, if you have positive cash flow and you're making money, systematically, one by one, start deploying those strategies. No question, sooner rather than later. Definitely put yourself in a position where you're saving and investing your money. No question, you've got to be an investor. The key thing, and everyone has heard it, everyone knows it, if you want to make money as an investor, you've got to leverage time. Unless you're going to be doing something like day trading, all that kind of stuff, that's a whole different realm, a whole different ball game. Being a day trader and investor are two different things, for sure. Investor is, we're looking more long term. That doesn't mean like with what I do with my portfolio and my team, we bounce in, we bounce out, no question. But at the end of the day, I'm in it to make money long term, and I gotta be because I want to make sure that I'm making I want the biggest bang for my buck. I want the greatest return possible. And I could go off on a tangent. I love talking about some of those equities and what some of those phenomenal stocks are doing right now, but I'll save that for another video. That's a lot of good stuff. But let me jump into the next question that, again, it's different, but there's some very strong components that are synergistic with that great question from Carter. This is from Keith. He writes, Joel and team, thank you for answering my question. These were other questions. We're starting work with Keith one-on-one, so he had asked a bunch of questions previously. Joel and team, thank you for answering my questions and putting me on the right track. I am excited to be working with your team. The problem I am having is people think that we are going to provide service either for free or at a reduced rate. I see this all the time. The problem I am having is people think that we are going to provide service either for free or at a reduced rate, as in low rates comparable to rideshare rates. I would never be able to pay my bills, let alone provide any degree of quality service if I paid what they are asking. One facility in particular accepts our base rates and mileage, but then they complain that we have to charge a wait time when we take residents out of area and our drivers need to wait during their appointment to return them. Other people complain that we don't charge $2.50 per mile one-way trip like the county transit service. We could never compete with that. No, you cannot. Any advice you can offer would be great. I look forward to hearing from you and starting our work together. I know that you guys will help put me in the best possible position. Thank you, Keith. A lot of good stuff there. What did I say in answering Carter's question? Time. We want to leverage time to the best of our ability. If we are short on supply, we have to have a strong, dynamic business model that we can leverage time. We want to sell it for multiples. Now, your situation here, Keith, is, again, here's a situation where what is a key variable? Time. Everything revolves around time. Here's a situation where people don't value your time. I don't know enough about the facility yet. I'm sure we will because we're going to be working together here, but this facility is accepting your base rate and your mileage fees, which is great, but I'm assuming you're billing them directly because the facility, if they're complaining about paying for wait fee, welcome to reality 101. So many people, it doesn't matter what, it doesn't, think of any possible business you're in. It's human nature. Everybody wants something for nothing and they don't value time. I mean, trust me, I experienced it in my NEMT business for sure. In my broker business, there's some people who they want certain things for free, no question. As a consultant, I mean, even people name any point in time, any situation, I've seen it. I mean, recently I met with my team on Friday because we try to meet at least at the end of the week to try to consolidate, make sure we're all on the same page. Supposedly, last week we had a guy he's trying to purchase a NEMT business for $1.2 million. He's poised to purchase a business for $1.2 million, and he sent over all these files. Wanted us to look through them, give them the business valuation, and then when one of my team members sent them a link to purchase the valuation for $1,500, crickets. Wanted us to go through all this, evaluate everything, do this process for free. this person, I don't know if it's male or female, is poised to purchase a business for $1.2 million and found $1,500 valuation fee for me to look through all the paperwork to offer detailed feedback. That was an insurmountable challenge for them. It's mind-boggling for me. You're considering investing $1.2 million into a business, and $1,500 was a stumbling block for you. And again, I know that I'm kind of rambling here, but my point is, it doesn't matter, Keith, what business you're in, you're going to see the same level of insanity. People are going to want to steal your time for free. That's why you've got to be absolutely critical. All of you watching this as a business owner, it is absolutely critical that you do not let people waste your time. Time is critical. Time is valuable. And if you waste your time, if you let people continue to nip at your heels, free, they will keep you tied down into the weeds so that you cannot leverage your time. We know what our goal is. Our goal is to be a millionaire, a multimillionaire, whatever your goal is. But we've got to reverse engineer it. And in so doing, we've got to realize that people are trying to waste our time, and we cannot do it. You cannot work for free. Now look, I know you know that, Keith, that you can't work for free. And again, we'll be talking soon, so I'll learn a little bit more about this facility and what type of trips you're doing. But obviously, if you're taking people out, I get it. I totally understand it. I get it. If you're taking people out of the area, and I don't know how far you're taking them per se, I will soon. But if you're sending a vehicle out of area, we used to do the same thing. We had a certain mileage that if it was at one point in time we had it 40 miles, then we reduced it to 30 miles. We would keep a driver out there. We would charge the wait time because we did a cost analysis, and to send a driver out, bring him back in, and then send someone else out a second time. I mean, it was counterintuitive. It was counterproductive. It was a waste of efficiency and time. We had a better bang for the buck, letting a driver sit there, wait for the appointment. I get all that. So these are things that in working with you, Keith, we're definitely going to continue to talk about that for sure. One thing that's absolutely critical, you mentioned the $2.50 per one-way trip. I'm quoting you here. Other people complain that we don't charge $2.50 per one-way trip like the county transit. I am assuming you have similar to what, I see it all over the place. A lot of counties have it. We have it here in my area. I think my area, they charge like $3. You have to understand, that is not your target market. These type of services, they are heavily subsidized by combination. It could be state and county, regardless. It's heavily subsidized by the government. When you see people who are using those wheelchair services where they're only paying $2.50, and in your case $2.50, I know in my area it's like $3 each way, you don't compete with that. Even though that person may be in a wheelchair, he or she is not your target market. That's not your client. That person can still, even though they may be in a wheelchair, they are, for all practical purposes, independent. They can get themselves out of their residence, get themselves down to the curb. Those services that do this, again, they're heavily subsidized. You got to schedule well in advance, fixed route, predominantly usually there's some type of degree of fixed route. Like I say, your appointments have got to be well in advance. A lot of waiting associated with those type of services. It's not going to be like traditional, your NEMT business when the client's ready. That unit secretary, that doctor's office, they're going to call you right away and say, "Hey, Joel Davis is ready to be picked up." It's different. So understand, this is not, when people are complaining about your service not providing $2.50 pickups, $3 pickups, they are never going to be your market. Now, one day, when that person can no longer handle their own affairs or literally maneuver on their own and they lose that degree of independence, maybe they're in a nursing facility, maybe they had, I don't know, God forbid, some type of an accident, something that's limiting them where they lose more of their independence. Now they are part of your target market for sure. There's no question. So understand this, crystal clear. Just because someone's in a wheelchair doesn't mean they're your target market. Just because someone's in a wheelchair, they could be painfully independent. And God bless them, that's awesome. God bless them. Let them be as independent for as long as possible. But do not confuse the two. They are not your target market. So don't ever think you're going to find a way to compete or entice them. Now, some of these people who do this, I'm going to assume a large degree of them may be on Medicaid, low income, whatever the case is. I'm not sure. If they were willing to pay for a service that is not provided by this county transit, something that may not be on their fixed route, some type of out-of-area service, whatever, they'd have to pay. It is what it is. You're never going to compete with $250, so take that out of the equation. You may get some people who call and complain. They want you to pick them up for $250, $3. It's just not in the realm of reality, nor is it in the realm of reality for you trying to compete with a rideshare service. Absolutely not. Again, there's people who watch some of these videos. Your goal may not be to be a millionaire, multimillionaire. There's nothing wrong with that. I've said it countless times previously. If you just want to drive a little bit to stay engaged, you like talking to people, you want to help people, that's awesome. Take your car, go drive for Uber and Lyft. If you want to help, go volunteer somewhere. There is nothing more noble than you wanting to volunteer your time, effort, and services. You may be retired. You may not need the money, but you just want to stay engaged in life. Go do that. Phenomenal. You may just enjoy, being in business for yourself, maybe working with a small team, helping some people out. Okay, well, maybe you just want to go build a small business, 1, 2, 3 vehicles. Maybe it's a family thing. Maybe it's just a friend. Go sign up with a Logisticare, an MTM, a Southeast Trans, a Medicaid broker, a comp broker. Make a little bit of money. That God bless you. Nothing wrong with that. If I go back to Carter, if your goal is to become a millionaire, multimillionaire, of course, I want you to deploy the strategies from that liability video that you referenced, Carter, no question. Set the goal, identify the goal, reverse engineer. Joel, I got 30 years to do this. Awesome. We can leverage time. We have more time. We have more flexibility. We have time. We can leverage our cash flow, build a strong business model. We're going to sell this business for multiple. We're going to start multiple businesses. We're going to start multiple businesses at the same time. The possibilities are endless, and I can't answer it for all of you. You've got to do the work. You've got to do the heavy lifting of actually identifying your goals, reverse engineering, and then developing, okay, what do I need to get there? If I want to be a multimillionaire, what are the steps I got to take? I got 5 years. You better move. I got 10 years. Okay, we got some breathing room. We could pull that off. Joel, I got 20 years. All right, man, we're going to get this done, and we're going to blow this thing up. If you're younger, we're going to blow it up. But we have to develop the patterns and habits right now to build strong businesses. And going to Keith, we cannot allow people to waste our time. If you want to volunteer, go volunteer. Phenomenal. Love it. God will reward it. God will bless it. Everybody should be able to tithe, give, donate of your beyond just your money. Invest with your time. Benefit and bless other people with your time. And that's the beautiful thing about being a multimillionaire, having more money. When you get more money and you have more freedom, time, and flexibility, not only can you give more money, tithe more money, you can invest your own personal time. So at that point in time, you're giving. That's phenomenal. We're all called to do that. That's excellent. But again, I caution all of you. I caution all of you with this. And I mentioned it in one of my previous videos. I don't remember what the context was, but it's critical that you do not confuse busyness with business. They are not the same. There's people who are so busy every day, they're doing things and they're always on the move, but they're headed nowheres. They're busy. It's like, oh, there he goes. Oh, what's he doing? Oh, look how he. But they're not being productive. Do not confuse busyness with business. They're two totally different things. My hope, my goal for you, Carter, Keith, and everyone watching this, is that you don't get caught in the weeds, wasting your time with busyness, allowing people to manipulate you, tell you how much they'll pay, force you to try to negotiate your rates. You never let anyone dictate your rates. You should never let someone call you up and negotiate your rates. When you go to Outback, do you try to negotiate the price of your steak? Absolutely not, you don't. So why are you going to let someone pick you up, pick up the phone, call you? Well, $75, $130. Well, I won't. Well, I won't do it for $130, but I'll give you $95. No, you won't. Click. We're done. You don't allow people to waste your time. If you do, you are trapped in the weeds. It's a vicious cycle. It's a vicious cycle being in the weeds. And sometimes when you get snared in the weeds, you don't find your way out. At that point in time, you've lost control of the ship. You're like a ship without a sail, a ship without a rudder. You just start going wherever the winds take you. You are no longer in control. In order for you to achieve your goals, you have to maintain control. Reverse engineer, stay on track, stay in control. When you do, I'm going to see you at the top.